Hey guys, Persephone Plasmons here, and today I'm going to review my new favorite dating simulator, Fallout 4. So, going into playing Fallout 4, I had never played a Fallout game before. I actually asked a friend what her favorite Fallout game was, and she said New Vegas, which seems to be kind of a general consensus, but I grew up in the Mojave Desert, and I was so not wanting to play a game set in the Mojave Desert because, if you grew up in the Mojave Desert, you would understand. Trust me. So I looked at the different options for different Fallout games to play, and I saw that Fallout 4 was set back east, which I thought was a really awesome setting, and so I was like, sure, let's do this. So not knowing anything about any Fallout games except for the fact that they had this awesome 50s aesthetic that I was totally vibing with, and this cute little mascot that goes, I decided to start playing Fallout 4. And here's what I thought of it. This is your official warning that there will be spoilers for Fallout 4. So first I want to talk about the setting. The setting for Fallout 4 is back east. Again, it's in the Commonwealth, which is Massachusetts, basically. But you get to visit a lot of really cool sites, like you get to go to Salem and to Boston, and you get to see Fenway Park, which is really awesome, even though I'm not much of a sports fan. Just the whole idea of turning an old baseball park? What are they called? Clearly, I don't know sports. Stadium? There we go, stadium. Yeah. The idea of turning an old baseball stadium into a city was just the coolest thing ever, and I loved that. So, Diamond City was awesome. I really loved the setting. I was sad that everything was so brown, again, because I grew up in the Mojave Desert, and I just want everything to be green, but, you know, nuclear apocalypse tends to be a bit dead, I guess. Makes sense. So being in Massachusetts, just having all of this awesome US history and how that played into, I feel like, did that Amazon driver just hit somebody? They didn't. It's okay. They didn't hit anybody. Sorry. Anyways, back on track. The fact that they tied that into the story with like the Minutemen and just all of these little elements like Fenway Park being Diamond City, it was really cool, and I loved that whole aspect of it. With the setting, I also want to talk about the fact that it is an open world game. Now, I've actually played a lot of open world games, but they have almost exclusively been MMOs. So I played EverQuest way back in the day when that first came out, like the first one, like where you just basically look like a few squares put together, but I thought it was the most amazing graphics ever. I played EverQuest 2, Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, like I played all of the big MMOs, and so I'm used to an open world concept, but I didn't understand it at first in the setting of like a single player game. And so I spent so much time just wandering around aimlessly because I was like, I know I have quests, but there's so many of them. How am I supposed to get them done? And what order do I do them in? And as a gamer who plays a lot of MMOs, I should have not been confused by that, but I really was at first. I actually spent a lot of this game just being confused because I think I did not pay attention very well to like the little tutorial instructions and the fact that it's open world, and so I spent this game how I spend a lot of games, which is just wandering around and exploring, which is why it took me a year and a half to beat this game. Now that's not exclusively, like I was taking breaks to play other games, but I've been playing Fallout 4 for a year and a half. And towards the end, to be fair, like now, I'm kind of just taking my time and going over things I don't really need to do because I don't want to be done playing it. Okay, so I also want to talk about story. I feel like it's kind of a general consensus, like everybody knows that Fallout 4 is supposed to be about you looking for your son, but really you do everything but look for your son, and that's exactly what I did. Like, I was like, oh no, Sean! Anyway, like this much time looking for Sean and the rest of the time like blowing up Deathclaws and stuff. It was fantastic. But with all of the quests and stuff, I didn't really do the quests probably in the order that I should have. So like the Follow the Freedom Trail quest, I don't know why, but I really was thinking like this is such an inconsequential quest. Like it's not a big deal. And so I'm gonna save that for like last, or I just ignored it for the longest time until I literally got to the point where I like invaded the Institute, and it was like, oh, I guess I have to do this with Brotherhood of Steel, because like who else am I really gonna do it with? Like I can go with the Minutemen, but they don't have much of an army. I was like, well, maybe I'll follow that Freedom Trail quest. So literally like towards the end of the game, I finally was introduced to the Railroad, and I was like, oh, is this a whole other faction I could have been like talking to? So that was fun. And it's actually kind of a shame because my favorite character ended up being Deacon, which I will talk about when I talk about the companions. But yeah, I did like everything in the game without even talking to the Railroad, and then finally talked to them right when I was about to go into the Institute. And so when you get to the point where you have to pick a faction, and you have to pick between the Brotherhood of Steel or the Railroad if you didn't go with the Minutemen into the Institute, I was like, well, I guess I'll kill the Railroad. Like, I don't know any of these people. Like, I went to their place once, and, like, that Desdemona person was kind of a butt-face to me. So I went over and was like, oh yeah, I'll choose the Brotherhood of Steel, because I've been with them the whole time. Like, Dance is my boyfriend. This is great. And then it was like, kill all of these people. Like, all of these people were on the list of people I had to kill, and they had names, and I was like, oh, I think these are, like, NPCs that I could have, like, bonded with and, like, gotten to know them, and maybe I shouldn't kill them. So I went, like, days and days back in my save to, like, undo that decision and, like, learn who the Railroad was, and I ended up loving the Railroad. But yeah, it took me for freaking ever to find the Railroad, and just because I thought I was like, follow the Freedom Trail. Not today. I'm gonna go do all these other quests, not realizing that it was an entirely other faction that I could have been playing with the whole time. The main thing that I actually want to talk about with Fallout 4, aka my favorite dating sim, is the companions. I had Preston Garvey as my companion for, like, a little bit, but I was like, I don't need a companion. Like, I'm just gonna wander the wasteland alone. And so I did that for a long time. And then I think I had some kind of a mission that I was like, oh, this is probably going to be hard. Maybe I'll bring a companion along. So I brought Preston along. And then, like, he started talking to me about personal stuff. And then this little icon came up, little triangle, that said, flirt. And I was like, hold up. There's flirting in this game? There's relationships? I can date these people? Game changer. I did not realize that there was romance in Fallout 4, and if anybody knows me, it is that I am a sucker for romance. So when I saw that flirt icon pop up, I was like, oh, we're playing a whole different game now. This is a big deal. Of course, Preston turned down my advances the first time I tried to flirt with him, and so I was like, oh, I guess that means I just can't, like, he's off the table, he doesn't like me, that's fine. So I, like, never went around with Preston ever again because I didn't really understand how the whole companion mechanic worked, really. So then I was like, oh, I'm gonna try my chances with Dance. So I do all of the quests with Dance, and again, spoiler alert, Dance is a synth. Did not see that coming. And the funniest thing happened. So early on, I had tried to take Dance out of his power armor because I wanted to put him in, like, a nice little suit, you know, make him look all spiffy, and I couldn't do it. I didn't realize all I had ended up doing was I just took off his Brotherhood of Steel jumpsuit. So when I get to this place where I go into the bunker and I'm supposed to talk to Dance, who is, you know, about to end things, I go in there and homeboy is in his underwear, just standing there, you know, butt naked. Not butt naked, he's in his underwear. And I remember thinking, like, I mean, that's a weird choice for the developers to make, but I guess it kind of makes sense. He's probably looking for, like, signs that he's a synth. So we have this really deep conversation where I convince him that he has things to live for, and then we go outside and I'm thinking, okay, you know, we're gonna pop out of this instance and he's gonna be in his armor again. No, he's not. He's still in his underwear, and we walk outside and Elder Maxon is standing there, like, this big, serious, like, showdown between us, and Dance is just standing there in his underwear the whole time. And then it was at that moment that I finally realized it's probably because I took off his Brotherhood of Steel, you know, jumpsuit, and he took off his power armor because he didn't feel like worthy to wear it or whatever. And so he's just left in his underwear. But it gets better. I did not pass the dialogue checks to get Maxon to agree to let Dance live. And so I thought, oh, I'm supposed to kill Maxon. That makes sense. So I kill Maxon, and then Dance starts shooting me. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to help you out, buddy, but fine. So then I have to reload my save, fail the checks again, reload it again. I did this about 5 times, and then realized my charisma is just not high enough. And the only thing that I had in my possession, like, at that moment that would help my charisma was this outfit with these little short shorts, and it's like a tank top, and it was like, oh, this boosts your charisma. So literally, Dance is standing there in his underwear. I'm standing there in these, like, little shorty shorts. Just, you know, walk out there, and Maxon's like, excuse me, what's going on here, you guys? And I'm like, oh, don't mind the short shorts. How about you let Dance live? And it worked. So that was awesome. So I got to keep my boyfriend, and everything was going super well between us, and I was like, this is it. This is the real deal. And then I blew up the Brotherhood of Steel. So, you know, destroyed the Pridwin, did all of that stuff. And then Dance wouldn't talk to me. All of that effort and flirting was just for nothing, because he doesn't care, because I blew up the Brotherhood of Steel. You know, the guys that were going to try to have him killed because he's a synth? So we broke up. The only thing that really I didn't like about Fallout 4, well, there's 2 things. I'll tell you the other one later. The first one is just they could have done more with Dance as far as once he realizes he's a synth, he could be more pro-synth, because anytime I would bring him on missions, like for the railroad, he would get super mad because he didn't like that I was helping the synths. And I'm like, dude, you are a synth. So that was one of the big things that really bothered me, is that even after the Brotherhood betrays him and he finds out that he's a synth, like, he still won't speak to you if you destroy the Brotherhood. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, that was the only thing that bothered me about that. But because of that, I ended up having to try to find another companion to work with. And of course, me being me, I was like, well, it's someone I want to romance, so let's see who there is. Ended up romancing McCready, and that was all well and good, but I was like, I don't know, like, I just really liked Dance. And so I was like, wait a minute, there's this guy at the railroad that I haven't even, like, talked to, and his name is Deacon. I'm gonna go and, like, see if I can have him as a companion. Worst mistake ever. Wanna know why? Because Deacon is literally the best character that there is, and guess what? You can't romance him. Bethesda, what kind of bullcrap is this? I am still so mad. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get over this, honestly. Like, the fact that I can't romance Deacon, I am pissed. Honestly, also, the poor voice actor that plays Deacon probably thinks I'm a stalker, because after I played through this and I was so mad that I couldn't romance Deacon, I, like, followed him on Twitter, and I ended up scrolling through his feed, and anytime he posted something about Deacon, I would, like, give it a little like. But I did this all in one sitting, so I think his name is Ryan. Yeah, Ryan Alocio. If you are watching this, I am not a creep, I promise, but you are gonna log into Twitter and see like 48 new likes from Persephone Plasmids. I'm not unstable, I just really like Deacon, and I was really sad that I couldn't romance him. Please don't get a restraining order. Best companion ever, has the best lines, he's so funny, and there's like a lot of lines that get recycled in certain situations from the companions, but I have still not gotten sick of his lines because they are just so funny. I'm really mad that I waited until the very end of the game, like after I had already destroyed the Institute and finished everything, to have Deacon as my companion, and the fact that he is not romanceable. So that is my second thing that I am mad at Fallout for. Like, the first one is that they could have done more with Dance's storyline after he finds out that he's a synth, and the second one is that Deacon is not freaking romanceable. That is such bullcrap. I will always be upset about that, let's be honest. Overall, like, I have loved playing Fallout 4, and I know that everybody says Fallout New Vegas is amazing, and that's probably the one I should play next, but despite my better judgment, I bought Fallout 76. I have yet to meet a single person who has a positive thing to say about it, but I don't care, because it's in West Virginia, and it's a pretty setting, and I'm just gonna give it a shot. You know, if I don't like it, then I can go and start Fallout New Vegas. You guys will have to tell me which Fallout game is your favorite, because I am having a hard time seeing how anything is gonna top Fallout 4. I legitimately just loved that game so much. So I also actually bought the Nuka World DLC, and it's incredible. It is so cool. It is seriously such a Disney, like, ripoff, and I love it so much, especially because I just went to Disneyland. And so seeing, like, basically just Space Mountain, like, replicated was amazing. Of course I brought Deacon, because Deacon's my favorite. I was really sad that the companions don't have any, like, new dialogue specific to the DLC, which was really sad, because it would have been such a great opportunity for some of Deacon's, like, classic lines, but I still brought him anyway. Of course, I would have to send him back to Sanctuary Hills anytime I had to actually, like, make decisions with the Raiders, because I didn't want him to be disappointed in me, even though I can't romance him. I still care. But there was this, like, crazy cult that wanted me to basically, like, refurbish a Gravitron ride, and then I did, and I had, of course, put Deacon and myself in the spacesuits, because when in Rome, right? And then all of the, you know, cultists died, and it gave me the little prompt that said Deacon loved that, and that was probably the funniest thing that could have happened. Of course, I am, like, such a little goody two-shoes in real life, and so doing these quests, and then they were like, oh, you have to, like, take over the Commonwealth, and all of this stuff with the Raiders, I was like, oh, no. Oh, I'm in too deep. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do any of that. And then I realized that I could take the other way out and just kill all of the Raiders, and so that's what I did. And I killed off the pack first, so then I put on a terrifying animal mask and just went on a rampage, and it was honestly a really good time. So there you have it. That is my review of Fallout 4. I don't know if that was even a review. It was more like a recap of my gameplay. I love the companion mechanic, even though I didn't understand it for such a long time, and I played for so long without any companions because I don't know, it was my own fault. It's not like it's a confusing mechanic, I just never utilized it. But it's so much fun. I love this game so much, and I'm already planning like another playthrough. Oh yeah, and Bethesda, just thank you for making such a freaking awesome game, and thank you to the voice actors who brought all of the characters to life. They are incredible, and I love them all, and I will protect all of them at any cost. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite Fallout game is, and which one you think I should try next. And yeah, fantastic game. I love it so much, and I'm so happy because after playing each BioShock game 15 times, it was nice to find a new game that I actually really thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be going to FanX this September in Salt Lake, and I'm going to be doing a Vault Dweller cosplay, so I will post updates with that once it is done. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!